Yeah, absolutely. Halo's been making moves, and this is exactly what I want to talk to you about here today. Ladies and gentlemen, 343 is no more. It's kaput, gone. And with this rebranding to Halo Studios, will we be getting in return the new and hopefully improved Halo I think we've all kind of been waiting for? Let's take a peek. So as we see hither from Insider Gamer, Halo moves to Unreal Engine 5 with multiple games in development. And I think they've been calling it like some exploration project or something like that, because they've been dabbling in Unreal Engine 5 now for a good amount of time with a lot of new assets and things already created. So they've been making moves. They're putting in the work here, ladies and gentlemen. And this right here is the video they posted that's a part of this big rebranding that they got going on. From 343 over to this new Halo Studios.
Chris Matthews, take one. Mark.
This is Casey Wu, take one. Mark.
I was told that I can just be my authentic self, Chris.
For 6 years, I don't want to be in front of a camera.
There's so much to do and so much fun to be had when you play Halo that I feel like I never run out of things to do.
I love intricate stories that take place across lots of different worlds, have lots of different meaningful characters.
What made Halo successful at the beginning? What is the legacy of Halo, and what's the soul that we want to bring forward, and what's the craft of making Halo games, and how do we set our studio at best to go deliver on that?
We knew we had to make a change in order to take us into the future.
When I first heard about Halo moving to Unreal Engine, my first thought was, this is going to be a really hard secret to keep.
I think fans are going to be excited about the future of Halo because of the possibilities that are afforded us by using Unreal.
Before, we really had to split our focus in thinking about building an engine, supporting it, being really kind of a tech company and a studio at the same time. Since we've made the change to shift to UE, we can bring Halo forward in ways that people have never seen before while still being true to what Halo is.
So first off, hell yeah, it's going to be difficult to keep that a secret because, first of all, here we are talking about it today. And people are fiending for, what the hell our Once Upon a Time flagship title game of the year banger has been up to for the past God knows how long. But my first question to you guys is is this what we really need? A graphics overhaul? Of course, there's going to be some obvious benefits that come alongside this, right? But I kind of think it's the controls or the gameplay. I feel like it's a bit out of date. That's just my take on that. Now, what do I mean by that? Before I even continue, just for anybody that's new here, I'm a big fan of the game, and I don't want you to sit back and just think that I'm going to be over here just slandering the game the whole time. It's been a pillar to my life and something I've been playing since I was a little boy. But now that that's out of the way, what I am talking about is all right, so back in the day, the grenade play, which I think still stands here today, right? How you have to bounce it around the corner, and there's some tactical play to that, and there's a high skill ceiling when it comes to simple things like that. The main piece to this puzzle that I'm really trying to drive home, I think, is the gameplay, as in the additional character cinematic moments. I forget exactly what game it was, but they started implementing the sky charge slam thing, right? Just different maneuvers that our Master Chief can do. And then they also started going into this assassination mini cutscene thing where you're able to get behind your enemy, and as long as you're angled correctly and doing a backstab, you get a nice little mini assassination cutscene animation. They clearly see gameplay is king, and I feel like that's the part that is mainly that needs help. It really does. It feels kind of stale to me, and it gets very repetitive very quickly. Let's talk about our Infinite experience. How the hell was yours? Mine, for example, I want to say not even halfway through, probably around 5-6 hours deep, I was feeling that repetitive state. And I mean, they're adding, different grenades, right? But it's the same motion. They do a little bit of different stuff. Okay, they're adding a grappling hook. Okay. So they're adding these things. But our Infinite experience, again, I was like, okay, pick up gun, make sure gun has ammo, blast enemy in front of me, and kind of just keep on charging forward. Every now and again, you'll have your little hit animation. You'll smack them with the butt of your gun. okay, I could dig it. I could dig it. But the stuff gets stale very quickly, and it's the same repetitive motion, no matter really what gun you have or whatever it is. I feel like that formula is kind of a little cut and dry. And I don't know if they just need to add slides or wall running. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying the gameplay needs a little sprucing up, if you would. But yeah, that's what makes Halo Halo. But the fact that they're adding these things kind of already shows us that, like, they know, right? They're like trying to like sprinkle in little things to spice up the gameplay and keep it from being just this like me pick up gun, shoot the thing in front of me and keep moving forward. I think they know as well as us that gameplay needs to be something that they're bringing into the forefront. Now, the obvious good stuff that's going to be coming alongside this, obviously, Unreal Engine 5, new graphics. This is going to bring all new cinematic quality, storyline progression quality, and I think an overall better campaign. Of course, with like proper direction in the back end. But we're staying positive in here. You know, and I'm sure a lot of us was brought into this game originally always expecting that 5-star stamped storyline from Halo. And for me personally, it was never like a bad story presentation, right? Like the presentation was always there. It was always gorgeous. Voice lines are great. Cinematics are beautiful. All that stuff. It was like the back end implementation of it, I guess you could say, right? Like the stories were very disconnected and they didn't do a good job going through. But they were, you know, as a standalone story, like they were pretty, they were cool, and you can kind of get with it, right? But as a long-time Halo fan, like none of these stories from 1 to 3 was great, and then as you move forward, it got very disconnected, you know, and that was just like a behind-the-scenes issue. But they've always done great when it comes to their cinematics. And honestly, we really need to just get away from the whole, like, you all seen the memes with the brutes, right? Like, we certainly don't need that shit from what was once upon a time our flagship title, game of the year, sold Xboxes, you know, rocked the world when this game came out, right? Like, how many of us out there went to EB Games or GameStop at 1 o'clock in the morning and just sat there online just so we can get the game day one? To see where it is right now compared to where it was is bonkers. It is absolutely abysmal, and we certainly need to step away from that, and this is going to be a step in the right direction. Now, another part that they brought up is they have to be like this tech company, like developing an entire engine while still having to be a game development company, which is an absurd amount of work. I can only imagine. I'm not a game developer, so I don't know, but that's just got to be insane. Like, especially in today's day and age, we're expecting the works, right? Like, we're spoiled. When we see a new game come out, we want nothing less than 4K, 60, give me some cross-play, sprinkle a little bit of that ray tracing in there, a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't utilize because my computer's a piece of crap. But you get the point, right? So that alone now is something that can be just completely lifted off their shoulders. And hopefully this gives this game development company the option to do what they're really good at, hopefully making games. Even when you talk to people and you ask them about, like, you know, you look at games and they're like 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10 or something like that. People these days are like, oh, that's garbage. Get that away from me. Meanwhile, it's like, oh, no, it's a good game. You know, it's a good game. You don't have to be 10 out of 10, but that's where our expectations are, and that's where we perceive. So that's what's real, and that's it. Yeah, it's got to be sucking up a lot of their resources. Yeah, and not for nothing, it's got to be a completely different skill set when it comes to like building engines and softwares or whatever the hell else you're doing versus building levels and writing creative stories and making quest lines. Like, those can't be in the same ballpark, right? I don't know.
The Foundry project was an effort to show ourselves how far we can push things using Unreal 5.
New studio art director, Chris, came to me and said, hey, I have this crazy idea.
He said, hey, there's this thing called Project Foundry that I want to do. Let's make it happen.
Foundry specifically is based around the same concept of the Foundry in Halo lore. It's the place where Halo rings are born. It's not a game, it's a research project for our studio so we can prepare ourselves for the next steps of making Halo games.
The original Halo franchise was a graphics showcase. It was best in class. That's what Halo was when it first was released, and that's what Halo needs to be again.
A new dawn, ladies and gentlemen, a new dawn. I like what they're saying. Like, I like the tone that they're setting right away, right? Like, they're like, oh, like the old way is the way. The original Halo was best, top shelf, best in class, the showcase or whatever. This is what we need to get back to. I like it. Yes, indeed you do. I feel like they should be setting the bar and pushing, like, you know, what's next to come in this gaming industry, not trying to catch up and you know, catch up unsuccessfully as they are doing.
It's not a game, it's a research project for our studio.
Research project. There it is. That's what I was talking about in the beginning. That's what they're calling this thing, the research project. And I feel like they're looking at it as more of like a practice court or course, but it feels like we're going to take what, like a year, 2 years playing around and working with Unreal Engine, building levels, understanding how this thing works, messing with the new tools provided to them, and start really converting their entire system over to where they need to be to really start, you know, just pumping out and producing some of these large projects. And again, I don't think this is going to be super simple by any means. Like, all their pre-used assets from Halo models, guns, ships, all that shit. I don't think that you could just like plug and play, right? There's no way. Like, if I take all my stuff from DaVinci Resolve, that's what I use to edit my videos, and then we plug that into I don't know, Adobe and stuff like that, like, I at least have to reformat my stuff. We have to bring that in a different way. That stuff isn't just gonna like oh yeah, let me just drag this over here and now we're able to use all these folders. That's definitely not the case. Majority of these assets, I believe, are gonna have to be redone from scratch. Action figures, yeah, I mean, I think they're action figure-y because, well, they're not moving, right? They're not animated and they're posing in that way. So yeah, I mean, they do look action figure-y, but I think they're trying to make it like that, right? Yeah, like maybe they can add a little dirt and grime. I don't know, you see some scuffage here. They got some marks on their armor and stuff. Let me get a close-up on his face, hold on. Yeah, that's pretty crisp. Like, you could see some wear and tear here along the edges. But yeah, no, for the most part, they're pretty damn crispy. I mean, maybe they can add a little scuzz to it. But it's just kind of the pose that they set up. So, but it looks beautiful. It looks nice. But you know what else looked nice? The intro to Halo Infinite. That freaking looked nice too. And look at what we got. So, you know, button up.
So once Project Foundry had been approved, we took the entire creative team and we ideated on 3 locations, something old, something new, and something really alien.
We had the Pacific Northwest, which is sort of traditional Halo biome.
We were trying to shove as much foliage in there as humanly possible to make it really feel like you're on a hike in the, you know, Cascades.
The Coldlands, which was the second biome that we took on, it was more of a technical showcase where we could play with shaders, we could play with deformable landscapes and terrains. Unreal affords us more opportunity than we've ever had in the past.
You know, on the surface, it might just look all like snow, but how many layers of things combine to really give that winter look?
And then our third biome was the Blightlands, which is any land that's been completely taken over by the flood.
I wanted to give our team the opportunity to really express an alien world, a really alien world, taking something way further than they may have actually done in previous Halo games.
What's impressed me about watching the Halo team work in Unreal is how beautiful everything looks, how incredible the environments look. I don't think we've seen anything quite like it in Unreal Engine before.
And it does look beautiful. It really does. But we know how, you know, that ended up. But either way, going back to the whole action figure comment, I think it's just the material, right? Like, look at how glossy and how perfect that looks. Sometimes it could look too perfect. And I feel like this, and it's just like the art direction that they're going with in general. And Halo Infinite, it kind of had like the same problem where it's like these types of games, like the Alien type of stuff, right? Or sci-fi games. These things are super smooth and metallic-y, where it's like really easy for them to just look fake, where it's like over the top clean and almost fake looking because it's just too smooth or too perfect. It's not real, because in reality we're used to the grime, we're used to the grit. Like if you see a realistic picture of the forest, like you'll see shit like broken branches on the floor, piles of leaves over there, or all the little imperfections, and that's what makes these photos photorealistic. And yeah, absolutely. You could turn around and build a whole story on why it looks this way, since it's an alien life form and they have this upgraded technology and yada yada. Oh, and the reason why this material is used is because it's highly resistant to rain and the elements, so it would look smooth. I feel ya. Yeah, I'm just saying, we as people, we ain't used to that. Our perception will always be, it looks too smooth, it looks fake. So at the end of the day, if that's our perception, no matter what story you build, that's what it's going to be. It looks fake. We need some stuff from our experience, grunge it up a little bit, and that goes alongside that action figure pose in the other scene. But I do think this shot looks very good. You could see here they're adding a little bit of dirt and grime. It kind of just like looks like some moss buildup. There's some stuff going on here, so they're trying. It's just up top where it gets real crispy, and that's always been kind of like Halo's art direction, which it's smooth, it's metallic-y. Looks good.
I don't think we've seen anything quite like it in Unreal Engine before.
Fortunately, we have a studio that's really passionate about Halo, about the look and the feel, and I think there's a lot of hunger to really collaborate, to move forward together.
Foundry was an initiative that touched on every part of the creative process, everything from concept art, VFX, characters, vehicles, and weapons to make the future games of Halo.
Creating an asset, taking this design, now we can really dig into material foundations. What is it actually made of? How is it physically accurate to the world? Now we get to take all the wonderful legacy assets that we have, bring them to life, and bring them to today's standards.
We are really excited to be not just working on multiple projects, but also expanding our studio.
As a lifelong Halo player, I think the game's only going to get better when we get those new, unique perspectives and people bring in their expertise and passion for the Halo franchise.
We are looking for new talent as the projects that we're working on kind of get further and further into their development cycles.
And it is great to be part of a team that's growing, because you can kind of see that force multiplied as people come in and take on challenges, and you can do more.
Imagine a place where you have the commitment that this is what we want to do, Halo games, and create those experiences. And you can express your talent, your creativity, and your professional ambitions in that place.
We're looking for designers, we're looking for artists, we're looking for engineers.
It feels like a new beginning for the studio in a lot of ways, and I think that's pretty rare.
And I think we arrived now at a point where you see the beginnings of people to start to believe in the process.
There's so much momentum that we have right now, and focus and clarity on not just what we're building, but why we're building, and kind of this next phase of Halo.
The worlds that we're building, the stories that we're going after.
The potential at Halo right now is huge.
Halo Infinite was the last remnants of how we made Halo games in the past. That was our recipe. And what we are doing right now, we're changing that recipe.
That's a pretty cool design logo. What do you guys think? What do you think, chat? I don't know why they didn't go with like the, original Halo 2 symbol. Like, branding is extremely important, and that shit that shit is stamped at this point, you know. So I don't know why they didn't do that, but okay, that's cute, and like the whole way it got set up was really nice too. But yeah, I think the key thing that they want to take away from this is they want a new tool set that is just absolutely cutting edge. They need to get people excited. They want to be accessible to a large group of new incoming devs to help them work on the game, and they need to just bring more people in. But I wish them the best of luck. Obviously, I'd like to see a high-end Halo game more often than every 6 years. And honestly, to see Halo go from one of the biggest games that everybody knew to what it is right now, it's time for something fresh and something new. And of course, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you liked the video, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Doodles!